Hello everybody and welcome back to Let's Build a Mission Editor tutorial series. Today I had a question presented to me that I promised to get an answer out to. The question on the table, or I should say the scenario, is how to either pause or hold a mission activation until all your pilots are ready. So meaning that everyone has joined the server, they've all jumped into their aircraft. Now there's a couple of different ways to do this. And so we're going to base this on a couple different scenarios. First scenario is we can use a radio item through the F10 menu that the lead plane or lead pilot or any of the pilots really can activate once you get the call out, hey, everybody ready to go? Yeah, sure, we're ready. You can start the mission by activating it through a radio trigger. The other thing we can do is set up a trigger zone where all the aircraft have to be inside that zone before the mission will activate. Okay, and the other thing we can do is when all the aircraft are quote-unquote alive. Remember, client aircraft are considered dead until they are started, until their pilot actually joins the mission, okay, or joins the aircraft. So I'm going to real quickly show you guys how to set all of this up. We're going to start out with the easiest of the ones I think to do, which is going to be the first two are going to be easy. Well, I should say 2 and 3 actually. Easiest is going to be mission creating a trigger zone that all the aircraft have to be in, and the second one is just as easy. Everyone's sitting in the seat. So let's do this. So first what you're going to do is you're going to call this, let's just call this mission activate. Okay, and actually before you're going, we have set all of these units to late activation. Okay, everything down here in Sochi, all of our red forces are late activation. Okay, you want to make sure you tick that way they're not activated. Now, something you can do to save on the performance impact when the group starts. So what tends to really make an impact is when you start a group. Okay, when a group spawns is what causes that little hiccup that you might see sometimes in a server, when a group activates. So what you can do is click this visible before activation. And what this means is that the unit itself will be generated, okay, but it won't be active, okay. Now, beforehand, I have seen before where it would still cause a hiccup because what it would do is actually copy a new group onto it, but I don't think that's going to be the case here. I think we're going to be okay. I haven't seen that one happen in a while. So, here's how we're going to do this now. Let's start with option 1 being everyone in zone. Okay, this is our first option. So what we're going to do is, that's what we're titling it, so it doesn't matter, it just happens once. Okay, and the reason why you can only do once is once you've activated a group, and if you deactivate it, you can't reactivate it. Okay, that's it, it's done, it's toast. So the condition is going to be all of group in zone. That's one way to do it. And so we can say A10, and if you had multiple groups, you could just clone this and add whatever the next group is. Okay, and you could put either and or. All right, so this would be and situation, meaning that both groups would have to be in here. You can put an or in here, meaning that either this group or this group must all be in this zone. So if you had 4 flights in this group, 4 flights in this group, either one can activate it, but all 4 aircraft in that group must be in the zone. Okay, and then you would just come over here and go group activate. And again, in this situation, we would just go Sochi ground 1, and you can start cloning. If you only wanted to activate some of the units based on the group that was flying into the zone, if you want to activate all of them, you would just keep cloning until you had all of your groups set up. Okay, so that's option 1. Now let's check out option 2. Option 2 would be everyone is alive. Now, I would recommend this one in ground start missions. Okay, you're starting on the deck, you're starting on the ground, whatever it may be. But I wouldn't recommend this one for an air start, because if you have people who are maybe taking a little bit longer to load in, okay, everyone's trying to get in, but you run into lag issues and internet speeds, everything changes, right? You could find yourselves pretty spread out by the time everyone's alive. So I would suggest this one be for ground start or boat start. And so then here we're going to go to new, and all we're going to do is group alive. And again, select your group. And this would mean that, actually no, what you would want, excuse me, sorry, back that up. We want unit alive, and this is where you would have to do each unit. Clone, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then again, same scenario, group activate. Okay, and select your hostile ground. So that's option 2. And then find the third option is to create a radio item. So we're going to call this manual start. Okay, you choose when the group activates, therefore when the mission begins. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to do manual start, and we're going to call a unit alive. We're just going to give one aircraft control of the situation. Now you can put anybody in here. Okay, you can do part of group alive. We can even do that, make it a little bit simpler. So any of these aircraft, any of our A-10s that we have, group alive A-10. Say the second one person gets into their plane, the next part's going to happen. And what we're going to do is radio item add. And you can see we can do radio item add for group, radio item add for coalition, radio item add. Radio item add is every single unit in the sim. Coalition, blue or red, group, obviously self-explanatory just for the group. Okay, you can't do radio item add for the unit, but we can do it for the group. Okay, so if you only want one person to have this particular radio item, you want them to be in their own group with a single aircraft. Okay, but we're going to pick A10 and then you name it. So in our case, we're going to keep it very simple. Mission start. And flags are like buttons, okay? Or switches, I guess is a better way to describe it. It's more like a switch. So think of this as switch 1. When I flip switch 1 on, what's going to happen? In this case, we're going to name it, let's do switch 100. The value, we'll go over this at a much later time, but basically you can assign points to what happens. So an example would be when all of this SAM group is destroyed, okay? We destroy that entire group, okay? And that would be our condition here. Group dead, SAM group. Okay, flag on is what we would do. I'll just show you guys real quick so you understand what it means. Flag on, we would pick 100, okay, and then we could do one more and give it a value. Oh gosh, right in front of my face. Here we go. So we go flag 100 and okay, 10 points. Okay, you could leave it right there, 10 points. Okay, so if your mission completion was blue 4 had to get 50 points, you could assign each group their own number of points each time one died, etc., etc. Okay, but anyway, so that's another whole other tutorial. So for the manual start, again, we name it manual start, still only going to happen once. Group alive A10 adds this radio item for the entire group and flips the switch on switch 100, or in our case flag 100. Now we have to say, well, what happens when flag 100 is flipped up? So we're going to come over here and we're going to do mission start, and we're going to come over here. Flag is true is the same thing as flag is on. Flag is false, same thing as flag is off. Okay, so we want flag is true, 100, and then again do your group activate. Okay, you start your enemies. Now the one thing that you're going to want to add to this is you're going to go new and radio item remove. And the trick here with radio item remove is you must title it exactly as you created it. Okay, so whatever you typed right here, capital letters, spaces and all, must be exactly what's put under radio item remove. Okay, and the reason why we're removing it is it's already been used, so why keep it in the F10 menu, right? Alright, so those are the 3 primary ways that I can think of off the top of my head to start a mission manually, right? To have an area that, or a way to determine when the mission starts. Okay, and again, the question, the way it was brought to me was, I want everyone to be able to be in their seats and be ready to go before we start the mission. And the other thing is, you can decide where to put this trigger. You can actually do this. This is still probably the easiest way, because the other cool thing is, we created this one with units alive, right? So if you just take your trigger zone, and you can move the trigger zone, make it small. We can make it down to 100. I could probably go a little bit bigger than that, 200. Okay. Put your zone right there. Let's do 250 just to give yourself a little buffer. Boom. There you go. So if you don't want the mission starting until at least all of their aircraft have spawned, that's how you do it. Okay, you can just leave this right here, and then it actually makes it even easier than dealing with the radio item. The radio item, I leave that for things that you want to happen at a very, very specific time that you want control over, right? You're waiting for a certain thing to happen. Like an example for me that I could think of is, let's say you're doing a close air support mission, right? And you've got a little secret in your pocket for your teammates, right? And you're flying around your aircraft, you're bombing things, right? You're protecting, and you want a MiG to suddenly spawn in, but you didn't tell them about it. So then you would just go to your F10 radio menu, right? And hit activate MiG. Right, and a MiG would come in, and all of a sudden, whoa, mix up the mission a little bit. It's a neat way. You can use radio items. Now, one person obviously always knows what's going on, but the cool thing about radio items in that scenario, activating groups and things, is you can create sort of a sense of dynamic operation, right? You can mix it up a little bit, add little Easter eggs in there, if you will, But I would say that, yeah, the first one is probably the easiest one to use, because all you have to do is move the trigger zone around. And if you kept this up in the air, make it big enough, and then you guys just fly to your waypoint 1 and orbit. And as soon as all 4 aircraft are in it, the mission will start. All right. So I hope that answered your question, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Take care, and have a great Friday tomorrow, guys. Bye-bye.